Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Just want to give you some more news on Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood has been released on bail after his arrest. Yesterday, Mason Greenwood was further arrested on suspicion of sexual assault and threats to kill. On Sunday, Greenwood was arrested on suspicion of rape and assault. Manchester United have suspended Mason Greenwood until further notice. And yesterday he was removed from FIFA 22. It's absolutely disgusting what Mason Greenwood has done. His career at Manchester United is over, and his England career is also over. He's only the age of 20. He was an upcoming player as well for Man United. Mason Greenwood joined Manchester United at the age of 6. He made his senior debut for the club back in 2019. Since then, he's gone to make 129 appearances and he scored over 30 goals. Last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Earlier on this season, he was out with COVID for a while. Earlier on this season, it did mention that Greenwood was upset that Ronaldo always starts. And revert back to 2019, Manchester United offered Greenwood a life-changing amount of money for him to leave. So that's more news on Mason Greenwood. Now I want to give you some news on Mauricio Pochettinho. So Mauricio Pochettinho could be sacked by March. That's according to Telefoot. Pochettinho's job hinges on PSG getting to the next round of the Champions League. PSG have got Real Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League. PSG recently got knocked out of the French Cup by Nice. Pochettinho has been relentlessly linked with the permanent role at Manchester United. I'd like to see Pochettinho become Man United's next permanent manager because I think Pochettinho would suit the trappings of the club and he would get the best out of these group of players. Manchester United should have got Pochettinho when Man United sacked Jose Mourinho, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. Pochettinho has been at PSG for over a year. His contract at PSG expires next year. I think he has won a French Cup at PSG, by the way. He's proven in the Premier League because before he endured a 5.5-year managerial tenure at Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his managerial tenure at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. Revert back to 2018, he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. And at one point he almost won the league when he was Tottenham manager. Tottenham made a big mistake sacking him. Before Tottenham, he managed Southampton. He only enjoyed a short managerial tenure with them, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far. And before then, he managed Espanyol. Erik ten Hag has been linked with a managerial role at Man United. A few weeks ago, Rangnick said that he wanted Erik ten Hag to become Man United's next permanent manager in the summer. Now, I want to give you some news on Declan Rice. So, West Ham are braced for Declan Rice bids. The Telegraph have reported that the Premier League's top clubs are targeting Declan Rice. Man United, Chelsea and Man City are eyeing a move for Rice in the summer. West Ham value Declan Rice at £100 million. Don't forget, Rice has already rejected 2 contract offers at West Ham. His contract at West Ham expires in 2024. He's been at West Ham for around 7.5 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. He's made over 100 appearances. Before West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for several years, but he actually never got in Chelsea's first team. Rice is predominantly a centre defensive midfielder, but he can also be deployed as a centre back. I'm expecting Man United to make some signings in the summer. Man United didn't make one signing in the January transfer window. And obviously Man United want a midfielder because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. It was a very disappointing January transfer window for Man United. You know, Lingard and Dean Henderson also should have left. But they didn't because Manchester United blocked their exits. Obviously, towards the end of the January transfer window, we had the incident with Mason Greenwood. Manchester United, though, did loan quite a few players out in the January transfer window. We loaned Donny van der Beek out to Everton. We loaned Amad Diallo out to Rangers. We loaned Martial out to Sevilla. Tuanzebe went out on loan to Napoli. And we loaned Ethan Laird out. And Tiedemann Menge also went out on loan to Birmingham. I reckon a lot of players are going to depart the club in the summer. So in the summer, I think Edinson Cavani will leave. Because earlier on this season, Ralph Rangnick revealed that Edinson Cavani wants to stay at Manchester United until the end of the season. Cavani's contract at Manchester United expires in the summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. I've been hearing that River Plate are considering a transfer for Cavani in the summer to replace Julian Alvarez because Alvarez is going to City in the summer. He's gone back to River Plate on loan until the end of the season. Last year, Cavani was linked with Barcelona. Don't forget, last year it said Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Juventus were in for him last year, and last year Cavani rejected a move to Boca Juniors. Before the international break, Cavani came off the bench and got the assist for Marcus Rashford's winning goal against West Ham, but a lot of people said Cavani was offside. Lingard, he will definitely leave in the summer. He's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Lingard has been part of the club for a long time, but he doesn't get in the team. Newcastle and West Ham try to get him in the January transfer window. You know, Newcastle were in talks, and it said Newcastle were prepared to offer a loan fee of $3 million. and there was a further 4 million as a survival bonus. Obviously, West Ham, that's where Lingard was on loan at the second half of last season. Lingard did very well with them. Towards the end of the January transfer window though, Lingard told Rangnick in a meeting that he wants to leave the club. But obviously it said that Man United told Lingard he would not be allowed to leave Man United in January. Juan Mata, he'll also leave the club in the summer. Mata's out of contract at Man United in the summer because revert back to last year. Man United extended Mata's contract for a further year. Mata lost his place in the team a while ago and he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But despite all of that, Juan Mata's had a good career at Manchester United. Mata has made 276 appearances in all competitions and he scored 51 goals. And he's been at the club for 8 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. Manchester United got Mata from Chelsea back in 2014, paid 37.1 million. Matic, he'll also leave the club in the summer. Matic is out of contract at Man United in the summer. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. Matic is only the predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got at the moment. I've always had my reservations about Matic, as you all know, but he has had his good games at Man United. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017, got him for 40 million. Paul Pogba will leave in the summer if Ralph Rangnick does not get the job on a permanent basis. Well, it said not so long ago that Pogba is willing to stay at Man United as long as Ralph Rangnick is manager for next season. Pogba has been impressed by Ralph Rangnick since his arrival, and he said Pogba would be open to signing a new contract. Revert back to the other month, the Sun said that Manchester United offered Paul Pogba a new £500,000 a week contract that would have made Pogba the highest paid player in Premier League history, but Pogba actually came out and denied that he'd been offered that contract. Earlier on this season, Pogba apparently told Man United that he wants to join Real Madrid in the summer, but it said PSG was the most likely destination for Pogba because Pogba held talks with PSG. Pogba recently returned to training. He's expected to be available for the game against Middlesbrough in the Cup this Friday. Pogba was out with injury for a while and he is injury prone, which is a concern because he's had a few injuries since he re-signed for the club. Manchester United paid £89 million for Paul Pogba, so reflecting on that, our most expensive sign at the moment. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far and he's played over 200 games and he's scored 38 times since he re-signed. Jones will also leave in the summer. He should have left in January, but he didn't. Romano said on deadline day that Phil Jones rejected a loan move to Bordeaux. Man United and Bordeaux had actually reached an agreement for Phil Jones to go out on loan to Bordeaux in order to get more playing time, and reports from France were saying that Phil Jones' talks were at final stages. But, Rangnick said, he's happy for Phil Jones to stay. His contract at Manchester United expires next year. Did you know that Jones is only the outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era? Being a long-serving player at the club, this season is his 11th season at Manchester United. Eric Bailly, he'll also leave in the summer as well. Because Bailly doesn't get in the team. He lost his place in the team a while ago. Bailly, not so long ago, was at the African Cup of Nations. The last game he played was the 3-1 win against Burnley, but he actually came off injured in that game, and Bailly is injury prone, which is a concern. Revert back to the January transfer window. In the early stages of the January transfer window, Damasio came out and said that Bailly had agreed to join AC Milan on loan, and he said Bailly was extremely interested in going to Italy. Manchester United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016, were paid £30 million for him. Revert back to April last year, signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. Do you think Tellez will leave this year? I hope not, because Tellez has been very impressive under Rangnick. Tellez is our first choice left back under Rangnick. Reports from Spain said a few weeks ago that Man United will look to sell Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka in the summer. We need to get rid of them because they're not good enough to represent the club. And Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Ronaldo faces a 25% pay cut should Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League. So there you go. Ralph Rangnick, he's been Manchester United's interim manager for almost 2 months. So far, Rangnick has managed 10 games in all competitions. He's only lost 1 game so far. He's had 5 wins from 8 league games, and he progressed Manchester United to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Now, revert back to the other week, like a lot of United fans updated you on. It said Man United had put their search for a new manager on hold after being impressed by Ralph Rangnick since he took charge in December, and it said that Man United were considering offering Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. Rangnick is Man United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then it did say he would continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. I'm hoping Rangnick can win a trophy at Man United, because Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. And I'm hoping he can get us a top 4 finish. Well, apparently it says if Rangnick leads Man United to a top 4 finish, he will receive a £500,000 bonus. Man United moved into the top 4, reflecting on the win against West Ham before the international break. Revert back to earlier on this season, it said that Rangnick, was under pressure and he was already losing the Man United dressing room. It said 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. Well, it did initially say that he was going to be backed by the Glazers and that in January, but he wasn't backed, was he? Which was disappointing. Man United changed formation under Rangnick. The new formation we've got is the 4-3-3 formation. That formation seems to suit our standards under Rangnick. Obviously, we scrapped the 4-2-2 formation. Earlier on this season, Rangnick recommended Ewan Sharping as an assistant coach and analyst. He also recommended Chris Armisen as an assistant coach, and he recommended Sascha Lenzin as a sports psychologist. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson retired. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months, then we sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite us winning the FA Cup under him. Then we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite Mourinho winning 3 trophies in his first season. So Mourinho did enjoy 1 good season at Man United. And last year, Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. Manchester United have not been the same team since Ferguson retired, and like I've mentioned before, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. You know, Ferguson, greatest manager of all time. Ferguson brought success to Manchester United. He won 13 Premier League titles. He won over 30 trophies in total. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United, so it does take some managers time to settle in. Alex Ferguson was at Manchester United for around 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a long-serving manager. Ferguson retired 9 years ago. He retired in 2013. Manchester United have not won the Premier League since 2013. Since Ferguson, Man United must have spent over £1 billion, and we've brought over 40 players in since Ferguson retired. And let me put into the equation, none of this squad is Rangnick's. You know, Rangnick is inheriting players who other managers have brought in. As you all know, Ed Woodward recently stepped down, which was good news from a Man United perspective because Woodward was one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Ed Woodward had, what, a 17-year association at the club. Richard Arnold replaced Ed Woodward as the new chief executive. The Glazers, you know, they've owned Manchester United for around 16 and a half years. They've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. The Glazers bought Man United for $500 million back in 2005. Revert back to April last year, the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League, and reflecting on that, Man United fans were protesting against the Glazers at the Carrington training ground and at Old Trafford. Towards the end of last season, it said the Glazers were only willing to sell Man United for £4 billion. Anyway guys, on my next video I'll be giving you my predictions for Man United's game against Middlesbrough in the Cup. I've already given you a predict 11, but I'll be giving you my score prediction, and I'll give you my goal scorer predictions as well, who I think is going to score. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.